What's up, guys? Brallus here. I just finished recording the latest podcast with Rich for Talk Gaming. He's going to have that edited and up by hopefully next Tuesday or Wednesday. It's a long one. It's almost an hour long, but we go over some really cool stuff. But in that podcast, I talked about Call of Duty and the Devolution and kind of how I feel like it's actually, instead of going forwards, it's going backwards. So I kind of wanted to put that into video form for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you guys agree or disagree, make sure you leave a comment, a like, whatever, and let me know, and I'll keep the content going. But let's get this party started. Okay, so most of you guys that come to this channel know that I make these videos strictly ad-lib. There is no script. It's all spoken from the heart because I feel like that's where I'm most passionate when I talk about things. If I have a script, it restricts me from what I really want to say.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
So what I really wanted to talk about was the de-evolution of the Call of Duty series and how I feel like instead of moving forward, it's actually moving backwards. Let me give you some quick backstory. So recently I jumped into Black Ops 4. It had been the first time in a few months, and I was playing it, and I just really wasn't feeling it for whatever reason. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, I haven't played a Call of Duty game for more than a year since I think Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3. I sat there thinking to myself, why? And I realized that it's because these games just don't hold my interest like they used to. And I was like, am I getting old? Is it just the formula getting stale? And I don't think the formula is getting stale because these games keep selling and I still keep buying them and having a good time.
Idiot.
But the reason that Black Ops 1, 2, 3, 4, Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, these games can't hold my attention is just because they're just not about the guns anymore. When I hopped back on to play Black Ops 4, I was realizing that 40 to 50% of the kills I was getting were from kill streaks, and I'm a pretty decent Black Ops 4 player. Like, I will toot my own horn, I can hold my own. But what I noticed is that there was just an overall general lack of skill when it came down to the gunplay, whereas, Call of Duty 1, 2, Modern Warfare 2, 3 were mainly focused around the gunplay and the boots on the ground combat before they started adding in all sorts of insane kill streaks and these gadgets like, crossbows that shoot explosive bolts and things like that, or heat-seeking mines, stuff like that that takes the focus away from the actual gunplay. Then shortly after that, about 2-3 hours later, I hopped onto Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered with a bunch of friends, and we could not figure out what it was, but we were just absolutely dominating people. The more we thought about it, we realized that it was because not only of our age, we've been around the block, we're in our 30s at this point, so we have a little bit more skill set, but at the same time, we realized that it was because we grew up on these games that you didn't have kill streaks, you didn't have all these things that you could use to your advantage that could just get you some quick kills and up your KD ratio. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered and those old, Call of Duty 1 and 2 were about the gunplay. It was about skill, accuracy, gunplay, and tactics. If you actually play a few rounds of Black Ops 4 and then you hop into a Modern Warfare Remastered match, or just go back and play your old Call of Duty 4 on Xbox 360 or PS3, whatever you're playing it on PC, there's a visually and very noticeably drastic change in the pace and momentum from Black Ops 4 to Call of Duty 4. What I mean by that is you'll notice in Black Ops 4 that when you are in combat with people, they'll do jumps around corners and things like that. Like they're playing Fortnite or Halo, they'll just jump in the air in the middle of combat while aiming and shooting their gun, whereas in Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare, if you try to jump like that or jump around a corner like that, when you land, your guy will stop for a second and try to catch his footing before you can start sprinting again. It's little things like that, little changes that Treyarch or Infinity Ward or whoever's developing these new games is making that's really taking away from the realism and the grit of being boots on the ground and having to go toe-to-toe with somebody else who's got a M4 or any sort of other gun, and really it takes away from the show of skill. Not only that, but call this a rant, call me old at this point, but I'm really sick of these games having skins for their characters that make them light up like a fucking Christmas tree.
What the fuck happened?
Like, dude, I'm dropping into a Battle Royale map in Black Ops 4, and there's these dudes that are just blinking red. I'm blinking blue. I have all sorts of colors on me. There's guns that light up. People are doing these insane dance moves, and I'm just tired of it. You go back and play a gem like Modern Warfare, and there's none of that shit. It was all about the gunplay. It was all about the skills. It was all about who's the last man standing, who's the better man in this fight. Like, for fuck's sake, they have a guy in Black Ops 4 who's a ninja who runs around with a fucking samurai sword. They have loot crates that you got to pay real money for that give you prime advantages over other players by giving you, like, for example, just a couple months back, there was a huge debacle with Black Ops 4 dropping an AK-47 in a loot crate that had significantly higher stats than any other gun in the game, and the only way to acquire this AK-47 was from a loot box that you had to pay for. The damage was higher, the stability was higher, so they were forcing people to spend real money, real life currency to get an advantage over other players. Now, where I come from, we call that pay to win.
Hell no, to the no, 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 hell to the no.
A pay-to-win game, or a pay-to-win structure, if you want to call it that, is when a developer or publisher who makes the game allows people to pay extra money on top of the base game that you get out of the box in order to acquire advantages over other players or have any significant advantage over any gameplay aspects of the game if they paid real extra money on top of the base game. Now I'm going to take a quick left turn and get very speculative about the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare and talk about a couple things that I'm really genuinely concerned about. Now, I am all about transparency, so I will admit that I am more excited for this Call of Duty based on the things that they've said more than any other Call of Duty that's come out since probably Modern Warfare 3. The reason for this is because in every interview that these developers are giving to usual suspects like IGN, GameSpot, all that trash, every time the question is asked of where did you get inspiration for this Modern Warfare, this new reboot of the series, they always respond with, well, we looked at Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare in 2007, and we took that and we said we want to remake that, we want to do that, and we want to remake it again, but better. Now, obviously, me being a huge mega fan of Call of Duty 4, that got me naturally excited.
Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy.
I'm pumped. I love that idea. I want them to take away all the jet boosters and all the stupid perks, the Christmas tree characters and the fucking light up guns and the gold guns, and I want them to give me something modern. I want them to give me something gritty and something completely skill based. Now, with that being said, going back to talking about the de-evolution of the Call of Duty series, one thing I did not like at all with the new and latest Call of Duty games is that they took the maps that used to be in COD 4, like those open maps that had cover here and there, they had crashed, like crashed the map with the helicopter in the center, on the train yards, things like that. They took all the originality out and they turned them into like these tiny 3-laned arenas with a main choke point in the middle where all the combat would happen. So either you're getting gunned down and getting in firefights with people in one of these 3 lanes, or everybody was meeting in the center and it was just an absolute shit show. Whereas in Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, the maps were structured in a way to where it required tactics and it required outsmarting the individual, flank tactics. It required taking cover. It was more hardcore, more realistic for a more hardcore generation. So though I am excited that they said they're going back to those types of maps, what I am mainly concerned about is the, of course, wait for it, it's the microtransactions. No! So since we talked about the pay-to-win structure of Black Ops 4, what's really concerning for me is that in all these interviews as well, these developers are dodging questions about microtransactions. Now, a good example of this is if you look at Game Informer's most recent rapid-fire interview where they interviewed the developers of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, he asked them the question, does this game have microtransactions? Are you ready to talk about it yet? And he says, we are not ready to talk about it yet.
Are you ready to talk about microtransactions yet? I'm not focusing on that at this point because you aren't ready to talk about them yet. I just focus on crayons and colors and paints and all those other good things.
So they're willing to answer most everything else about the game except for the egregious microtransactions. Now, why is this concerning to me? Let me tell you. The recent trend in video games is to release a full game, wait for everyone to buy it, and then slowly slip in microtransactions after the fact. When people have bought your game, they've spent the money, then they'll slowly start incorporating these microtransactions. We've seen it in Fallout 76, we saw it in Wolfenstein Youngblood, we saw it in Black Ops 4, and we just even saw it, the Activision did it with fucking Crash Team Racing. So my prediction, and this is, again, speculative, this is only a prediction, this is something that I'm really worried about, is that the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare is going to release to excellent hype, great reviews, rave reviews, I'm assuming, because, half that shit's paid off anyway, right?
Hell yes.
But what they're going to do is they're going to wait until people pick up the game, people spend money on the game, and then what they're going to do is they're going to start slowly incorporating these paid microtransactions. Now, again, this is all speculative. This is all up in the air. This is something I have no idea about. But based on the trends of the video game industry as of late, this is what's going to happen. And it's really heartbreaking. It really sucks because I'm really excited and I really want Call of Duty to make the footprint it used to. I wanted to have that comeback that really brings everyone back together. I mean, they even have crossplay between PC, Xbox, and PS4, but at the same time, knowing how Activision is, they could just be playing good guy. So that's it, guys. That's just my little rant, my little heartfelt speech on how I feel like Call of Duty has kind of backtracked over the years. It's just not what it used to be. It's kind of fallen from grace, and I really want to see it get picked up, but these are just some of my main concerns about the new Modern Warfare. So if you guys agree, disagree, feel free to like the video. Let me know how you guys feel. Leave a comment in the comment section. But other than that, that's all I got. So thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time on Talk Gaming.